Now let's come to the real reason why you're here, because we contacted you before the floods, and you wanted to talk together with our dedoc voice from the Philippines, Johanna, who I would now like to ask to come to the stage and join us. Johanna, you and Hubban, you wanted to talk about mental health and how diabetes and mental health go together and cause so many challenges for many of us. I will leave you to it because I know you have prepared a conversational presentation around this, and I look forward to hearing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bastian. Hubban and I are not healthcare professionals who can give medical advices, but we are happy to share our diabetes and mental health journey. Thank you all for being with us and acknowledging that mental health is for everyone. We want to honor your share of resilience and determination for self-care and self-improvement. Welcome.
Managing diabetes alone can be exhausting and demanding. Studies have shown that individuals living with diabetes are at an increased risk for developing depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. Through this presentation, we aim to share possible actions that you can take as an individual or as part of an organization to promote emotional well-being.
Yes, Hubban, discussing mental health may improve our glucose and energy level, our thoughts and belief system, our feelings and self-esteem. Overall, a better quality of life. A PWD is making on average around 300 decisions daily on diabetes management. That's a lot, considering there is no holiday.
So, why is this topic important? Well, findings from the CDC show that people with diabetes are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop depression across their lifespans. Stress is part of life, but if we are not able to take good care of ourselves, it can affect our diabetes management, eventually leading to a diabetes burnout. Similarly, societal stigma and unawareness can often induce feelings of worry and fears of complications among people with diabetes. As a result, people with diabetes are 20% more likely to develop anxiety in their lifespans.
Have you felt those? When we feel frustrated, worried, or tired of dealing with daily diabetes care, perhaps diabetes is controlling and imprisoning us. What triggers? When we did everything, even 200%, all out, best efforts, yet not seeing results. That's discouraging. It's also hard to experience complications. There's complication burnout.
Here's a thought experiment for you. Imagine you live in a perfect place. This is not America, not Asia. It's a utopian land.
In this utopian land, there's no judgment, no stigma, and all those stereotypes. Now, how would this inclusive and safe place look like?
Unfortunately, diabetes distress will still exist. The harsh reality is that people with diabetes have to deal with society's stigma as well as the stress of diabetes management. Pakistan is nowhere near a utopia. From the day a person gets diagnosed, they're instantly subjected to disgraceful and judgmental opinions, which puts them at a high risk of developing mental health issues. Some of the common stigma in the Pakistani society would include, such as women with type 1 diabetes are considered unfit to marry or start a family. It is a taboo but very common concept here. Similarly, children and young adults with diabetes in Pakistan are blamed and held responsible for their condition. Sadly, in Pakistan, it's not just the society. People with diabetes experience a lot of discouragement and judgment from their healthcare providers. Such type of remarks from a healthcare provider can leave a disastrous effect on the mental health of someone for ages to come. And this is where the Language Matters movement has given us a lot of hope.
Well said, Hubban. Let me share some serious problems most Filipino PWDs experience based on a survey I did before. Results show that we are experiencing severe distress when it comes to worrying about the future, having serious complications, feeling burned out, having anxiety and difficulty in doing one's work. We also have regimen related distress when we fail in our diabetes routine. Don't test our glucose enough and stick to a good meal plan, and are not motivated in our diabetes management. This is absolutely factual because most PWDs in the Philippines have financial challenges in availing out of pocket expenses for insulin and test strips. If strips are expensive already, what more for technologies? Can be a luxury. As such, early onset complications are within reach. This is a very painful reality.
As a peer leader at Meeti Zindagi, I learned quite a few lessons when it comes to promoting emotional well-being of people living with diabetes. First things first comes awareness. Meeti Zindagi values raising voice for people with diabetes and their issues. It is important that we eradicate diabetes-associated stigma with awareness campaigns. Secondly, peer support. Peer support is vital for our emotional well-being. Meeti Zindagi encourages young advocates to take up to volunteer emotional support, especially to community members who are going through emotional distress. And lastly, community interaction. The pandemic has made us realize how important an online community is. Meeti Zindagi strives to provide a private and safe space for people with diabetes to engage online and share their emotional burdens and realize that they're not alone. The photo you see on the upper left is of what we call a tea day. The word tea is derived from therapy. The concept is to come together over a cup of tea. At tea days, everyone is equal. And even when we have healthcare providers at a tea day, they're not there to judge or lecture people. Instead, they just listen and talk about their experiences. On the right, you'd see a picture of a camp that Meeti Zindagi held. Diabetes camps are very good activities when it comes to promoting diabetes education because the traditional modes of diabetes education are often overwhelming and stress inducing.
Love the MC initiatives. I like how you focus on the community level so that we don't feel alone in this diabetes warfare. On an individual basis, I want to share my long battle in accepting diabetes. Back then, I had a high distress as I saw diabetes as an emotional burden. I would tell myself, this is too much. Diabetes controls my life. I'm angry, scared, depressed. Will I have serious long term complications no matter what I do? Will I be accepted? It is like there was a never ending day to day storm. The demands were overwhelming. Can we just ignore or eliminate diabetes? How I wish. But that's rather impossible. If we ignore our self care, that's like a foul. We are inviting trouble. Let me tell you what worked and what didn't. First was the ugly lie, believing I am alone. I was in a web of lies, blaming everything because of diabetes. The 5 stages of grief were rather a long road to travel. I simply wanted to fix all these diabetes problems instantaneously. What worked? Psychotherapy. It's okay not to be okay. There is no shame in asking for help. We can breathe in and out. Patience in doing a lot of trial and error too. Mindfulness also works. We can ask ourselves, what's going on? How's our emotions and thoughts? How's our glucose level? From there, we can strategize what may work. There are so many options. Would it be exercising, hydrating, asking for help, visiting our HCPs, being grateful, asking for positive reinforcements, etc.? Let us also celebrate any small progress we have made. That's part of loving our well being. Second, peer support and family support are both important. When I met Triabetics, I felt so empowered. We were all living with diabetes and are into multisport. Training together gave me such a high adrenaline. How about paying it forward? Anyone can share their blessings. This may not be in a grand manner. Meeting up one on one, messaging others, sharing diabetes supplies are my gestures of love and care. Speaking here right now as advocates does not mean we are immune from diabetes distress. No such thing. Our glucose can still skyrocket to Mars, especially when we are sick. My personal faith tells me not to lose heart, nor let my heart be troubled. We have a purpose for having diabetes. All things will work together for good, as we are called to his purpose. Our encouragement to everyone is to embrace diabetes, support Join support groups, raise awareness, find your tribe, love them hard. I always believe the slightest help makes a big difference. A salute to all of you. We have come a long way.
These are the important takeaways that have helped me and Johanna in our mental health journeys with diabetes. Remember, diabetes does not define us, and that we can be greater than our highs and lows. This has been Hubban Khan.
And Johanna Call, and we would be happy to connect with you. Bashan, back to you.
Thank you, Hubban. Thank you, Johanna. Amazing talk. And you can see there were a lot of comments coming in. I only selected a very few. There's a lot more on Facebook and YouTube Live. You see one of them here from Caro. She's actually from Germany. You saw one from Wanya from Pakistan, and many others from people watching right now live whom I do not know. But thank you for raising awareness about how mental health and diabetes reinforce each other to the negative, but also how peer support can help looking through that and coming out brighter on the other side. Thank you very much. Hubban, there's also, I don't want to not show this, a comment on your presentation in the beginning for you, for Miti Zendahi, and for the work you're doing on the ground. Thank you for bringing this here to Doc Day.